New tonight at 6. In response to growth, CHRISTUS Health is expanding to Palestine with a brand new emergency hospital campus. As KLTV 7's Kristine Guevara reports, it's a development officials say will economically impact Palestine.
It's something totally different, something that's going to affect not just Palestine, the Anderson County area in general.
The 20,000 square foot facility will soon be built next to the current Christus Magnolia Medical Plaza clinic along the loop. Christus and city officials have discussed this expansion for a few years after seeing substantial population growth in Anderson County.
So Palestine is on an economic boom right now. So the more people in our community, the more people that will need medical services.
For seeing that sector of the economy grow, that's very important to us, as well as from a community perspective, just for our people to have more options when it comes to health care.
This will be the second ER service in the city, in addition to Palestine Regional Medical Center. Some features will include imaging and laboratory services and will accept ambulance arrivals. It will also house inpatient beds.
For antibiotics, IV fluids, supplemental oxygen, that type of thing.
This allows patients from surrounding counties to receive care closer to home rather than traveling to a bigger city.
It should substantially increase patient access, not just to the physicians here, but to the Christus hospital system.
The city says the facility will bring 40 new jobs to Palestine, like nurse practitioners, providers, and specialists, ultimately recruiting more healthcare workers to rural East Texas. Kristine Guevara, KLTV 7 News.
And construction is set to begin in June with an estimated completion date the end of summer.